would you describe love? Would you say it is an intense feeling or emotion, an attachment to someone else? Or maybe you would describe it in something that you enjoy or you like. It's like, I love this kind of ice cream, or I love this movie, or I love this person, or a friend. I love that person. I have attachment to my children or to a spouse. How would you describe love? The world does describe it like that, as an intense feeling of deep affection. And when we look at this definition and we look around, we see a love that is conditional. What happens when the feelings disappear? What happens when that person doesn't love you back? What happens when that person betrays you or something better comes along? Do you still love? The world defines love in a conditional way. And oftentimes, if I'm honest, it's a fear-based way. I will love you until you stop loving me in some way, shape, or form, or treating me the way that I feel I should be treated in some way. And the problem is that as a follower of Jesus, that's not how God loves. You see, God doesn't love us because we love him back. He loves us in spite of ourselves. And it's mind-blowing, right? That this God of the universe, we talked about this in my last video, the God of the universe who created all these things, he created us out of love. In 1 John, it says that God is love. His state of being is love. And out of him and who he is, he pours out this love. And he doesn't just do it with affection, he does it with action. And so when we look at how a follower of Jesus is going to love, and what describes us as being different is how we love. And so this love, he describes it in 1 Corinthians 13, and I'm sure that you've all heard this at, the last wedding you went to. It's love is patient, love is kind, it doesn't envy, it doesn't boast, it's not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, which is hard. It's not rude, it doesn't keep a record of wrongs. How do you not keep a record of wrongs, right? How are you not rude when somebody's rude to you? It doesn't get offended. It doesn't delight in evil, but it's rejoicing. It's like celebrating the truths in people's lives and encouraging them. It always is hoping and persevering and rooting for. It's not failing. It doesn't just stop. It doesn't abandon or neglect. And so when we look at God loving us this way, it says, while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. It says that God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son. He loves us. He created us for relationship with him. And in that love, he's saying, will you love like I love? My love is not dependent upon somebody else loving me back. My love is dependent upon the state of being of who I am. That changes things. As I was thinking about this, it reminded me of this really old fable called The Scorpion and the Frog. And it goes like this, and you'll have to forgive me if you've already heard this. But the scorpion comes to the frog, and the frog is in the river. And the scorpion says, hey, will you let me ride your back to the other side of the river? And the frog's like, no way, you are going to sting me. And the scorpion says, no, I'm not going to sting you. I promise, because if I sting you, we're both going to go down, right? We're both going to drown. And the frog thinks about it and he's like, all right, maybe. So he allows the scorpion to get on his back. So the scorpion gets on his back and he starts to go across the river. And in the middle of the river, the scorpion stings him. And he's like, why did you do that? Now we're both going to drown. And the scorpion says to him, it's just my nature. My question for you, I guess, today is, what is your nature? If you are a child of God, it is your nature to love, regardless of the brokenness or the sin of another person. I'm not saying you're giving them permission okay? But their behavior does not affect your state of being as a person that loves. Children of God, they love, and they love deeply and passionately and sincerely. They are patient and kind and gentle and humble. They don't keep a record of your wrongs. They forgive. They don't get offended. They're not getting angry all the time, because that is not what our Father teaches us to do. That's not how He loves us. He loves us patiently and kindly and gently. He draws us to Himself in such a way that He wants us to do the same to others. And so, as you are looking at the world that defines a love that is conditional, we are looking at a God who defines love unconditionally, that is superior and never ending and passionate. And He's inviting us to do the same thing. And so this week, I want you to think about the people that maybe haven't loved you well. And I want you to start thinking about how God has loved you and still continues to love you and still draws you to Himself. I want you to think about this word love and what it means, and is it your state of being? And if it's not, great, then today's a great day to start. You spend some time with the Lord and ask Him how to teach you to love like He loves, because He desperately wants you to do that. And so you're going to ask Him, how do I love like you? Teach me your way, O Lord. Teach me to walk in your paths and to love the way that you do. Deuteronomy 6, or 4:6, sorry. It says, it's called the Shema, and it says, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. And then it says, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength. And Jesus added to it, and He said, the second commandment is to love your neighbor as yourself. The love that is being described here isn't a conditional, I'll love you if you treat me kindly and nicely or don't hurt me kind of love. It is a love that crosses oceans because that's who you are. It's a love that roots for somebody else in the midst of their brokenness, prays for them. It's someone who shows up whether they deserve it or not. And it's somebody that loves like their Father because they are His child. So I want you to grapple with this a little bit this week. I want you to ask yourself, how do you see love? And how can you love more like Jesus does? Thank you.